Broadcasting to millions from WebmasterRadio.fm's world headquarters.
WebmasterRadio.fm proudly presents the longest-running program on affiliate marketing. Welcome to Affiliate Buzz. Our hosts, James and Arlene Martell, are here to inspire, inform, and motivate you with expert insight, interviews, and information that will increase your bottom line. Advance your affiliate marketing efforts every week on Affiliate Buzz. Now, please welcome James and Arlene.
Hi, it's James Martell here, and yes, welcome to edition number 485 of the Affiliate Buzz, where we've been keeping affiliates inspired, informed, and motivated to succeed with affiliate programs since way back in 2003. If you're joining us live here today on WebmasterRadio.fm, it's great to have you with us. If you happen to be joining us through a podcast on your smartphone, tablet, computer, or Wi-Fi radio, a very special welcome to you as well. I am here with Arlene today, and I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to talk about advocacy websites and getting Adam back, A Mother's Triumph Over Epilepsy and Autism, which is a book written by Arlene. And Arlene, I thought it'd be a good chance for us to talk about that today, because I do know a lot of listeners out there have a wealth of information, whether it be in the health and wellness arena or fitness, all types of topics that they're very passionate about, and they're really advocates for in their particular industry or maybe lifestyle. And a well put together advocacy website and maybe even a book can take them a long way into helping them get their message out. So I want to talk about that today. But before we get into that, what happened on Christmas morning in the Martell household?
Oh, hello everyone. Well, we had a fantastic Christmas. Victoria came over from Vancouver Island with her husband and her little guy, Calvin, that's 2 years old. And then we had the other three grandkids here, and Justin and Jenny came over, and Adam came over. So our whole family was together, and we had 13 people for dinner. And it looks like our family just keeps growing and growing, doesn't it, James?
Well, yeah, then there was a little announcement on Christmas morning times two.
Yes, we had two announcements. So excited. We have grandbaby number 5 and number 6, both coming in August. And that would be our daughter Victoria. She's having baby number 2. And Justin and Jenny, who just got married in September, having baby number 1. So we are absolutely thrilled about that.
Yeah, that's very, very exciting. And hey, while I tee this show up a little bit, would you take a look at your audio settings and maybe turn your microphone down? You seem to be booming through the mic. Yeah. But I want to talk about advocacy websites today, because we've chatted about this a few times over the years, but it's been a while. And I was just chatting with somebody last week who is a health and fitness expert and really knowledgeable on this subject, and thinking about putting together a website on that particular topic. And in your case, with your story, Arlene, and my story and the story of our son, Adam, which we could probably touch on a little bit as we get into this, was really the result. What happened from that is you wrote a book probably 10 years ago now called Getting Adam Back, A Mother's Triumph Over Epilepsy and Autism. And you put together a website called epilepsymoms.com at the as a guinea pig, actually, during one of the boot camps in the online conference room, where we were teaching a class to 125 students online in a weekly workshop setting, where we were putting together a website simultaneously with the students. And your site was the guinea pig, and we put that website together over a period of 8 to 10 weeks. And as a result, here it is 10 years later. It's got a wonderful story behind it. It's done so well in getting the message out. It's a showcase area for your book. It tells the story, and it also houses 7 episodes of your podcast. So I thought it would be really good opportunities for us to talk about that, because I do, as I said, there's a lot of people out there that have great information. They're really advocates to the topic. And what you did with that site and how that came together was a pretty interesting story. So let me throw it over to you. Go back, tell the story of Adam, and then bring it up to date, maybe to when we did the actual, just before you wrote the book.
Right. You know, and it's true, James. I get a lot of calls at this time of year where people are, you know, they've got an idea, and they've something that they've wanted to do for a long time, and they have a lot of knowledge about something, and it's it's just time to get it down into a website and possibly a podcast. But story of Adam, oh my gosh, I'll make it short. I'll start when turn the mic up a bit. Okay, it all started when he was 4 years old, and he had his first epileptic seizure. Turn my mic up a little bit here. There we go. He had his first seizure when he was 4 years old, and really there was no indication of anything like epilepsy in our family. We didn't know anything about it, didn't know anyone with epilepsy, but he started to have these horrific seizures when he was 4 years old, and they just got worse and worse and worse. Oh, you guys, turn this down again. So his seizures just got worse and worse, and we just didn't know what to do about it, and went to the doctor, listened to what they said, and just tried drug after drug after drug after drug. And it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible to watch our little boy, who was so bright and smiley and happy all the time, become completely lethargic, not even knowing how to dress himself, couldn't find the bathroom or the bedroom anymore, and just completely deteriorate to the point where he was non-functioning. So it was tough. It was really tough for our family because we didn't know what was going on. We were trusting the doctors, and nothing was working. Absolutely nothing was working, and he was just getting worse and worse. And then thankfully, through prayers, we found the ketogenic diet, which was a high-fat diet specifically for children with hard-to-treat epilepsy. And when we found that diet, when I saw that, it was actually on a show, Dateline NBC, and I couldn't believe it when I saw it because I'd never heard of this diet before. And I knew from the minute I saw that show that was what we were needing to do for Adam. And to make a long story short, we went back to Children's Hospital and said, I demanded to be put on this diet. And they had just started doing the diet as a kind of like a trial basis to see what kind of results they would get. So we were the 12th kid in the province of BC to get on the diet. And I'm not kidding, they fasted him for 3 days, but he was completely seizure-free basically from the minute he went on the diet. So it was life-changing for us, absolutely life-changing. And then we knew that if we didn't know about the diet, that there was probably lots and lots of parents out there that didn't know about the diet. And to see your child suffer with epileptic seizures the way we did, hundreds and hundreds of seizures a day, and the tonic, clonic, convulsive seizures 4 or 5 times a week, and then the drop seizures. I mean, it was just horrible. And just to watch your child deteriorate, and then to have this diet that just stops everything miraculously. It was like, holy crap, what just happened? So that was the basis behind getting the site and the book going.
So, and you're being quite kind to the doctors in this scenario as you're telling this story. So I'll be the bully in the room, but they've known about this diet for many, many years.
Yeah.
And they didn't bring this diet up because of reasons that I think Jim Abrams really kind of shone the light on. And Jim Abrams is a Hollywood producer, and he is the producer behind many of the Naked Gun movies. If you remember the movies with Leslie Nielsen and Airplane and the kind of the really funny movies, he was that producer. And he had a very similar story to us, and he was being interviewed on Dateline NBC about his son Charlie, and Charlie was very much the same as Adam, who was having all these seizures every day. It was just horrific. And he had discovered the diet, and he went back to the doctor and said, "Why didn't you tell me about this diet?" And the doctor said on camera on Dateline NBC, "Because we don't make any money prescribing bacon and eggs."
Right. And that's when I asked the doctors too, why didn't you tell me about the diet? Like what they didn't realize the hell they'd put us through as a family. And they said, because it's too hard on the parents. It's like, it's unbelievable. Like, we will decide what's too hard on the parents.
Yeah, we are the parents. That's our decision, not yours.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling it probably, I hate to say it, but falls under the same explanation that there's no money to be made prescribing, this special diet. So it's, in my mind, it's criminal at best. So let's do this. I want to help you get your mic sorted out. Let's take a real quick break, and after the break, we'll dig in to talk about actually how the website came together and how listeners, if you're thinking of putting together an advocacy website of your own, we'll talk about how it actually came together. And then I want to dig more into your book, Arlene, and how listeners can get a complimentary copy of that to either read themselves or forward on to their friends. All right, we'll do that and more right after the break.
More Affiliate Buzz coming after we hear from our sponsors.
Catholic Charities is committed to providing life's basic needs.
We thank you for bringing us all here today, letting these people understand how Catholic Charities runs and how important these people are. And we ask you to guide them, to protect them, and keep them here forever because this community needs them.
Visit www.catholiccharitiesusa.org to learn.
Are you looking for the best in WordPress speed, security, and scalability? WP Engine is a digital experience platform for WordPress, powering digital experiences for large brands around the world. With easy-to-use site management tools and powerful do-it-your-way development features, WP Engine gives you the flexibility to build it your way. Improve your SEO and conversion rates with a faster site on WP Engine. Learn more on WPEngine.com.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve, as they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
St. Jude continues to advance by increasing cure rates in childhood cancer. And donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. When it comes to research and advancements, there are some things that only we can do because we have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hello, I'm Hector Elizondo, and I want to talk to you about getting older. My body hurts, my joints ache, and sometimes I forget. I forget that doing all your own scenes for a movie isn't always the best decision, especially when you're galloping high speed on a horse named Archibello. So yes, my body hurts, but it's not because of my age. It's because I'm living my life.
Don't let life pass you by. Take care of your brain health. It may just help you stay on top of your game.
Oh, Archibello!
Learn more at brainhealth.gov.
Where affiliate marketing gets its buzz and mobile has its presence. Webmasterradio.fm. Online anytime. We're everywhere.
Time now to hear some more affiliate buzz on webmasterradio.fm. Here's James and Arlene.
Yes, it's James Martell here, and I am here with Arlene, and we're talking about advocacy websites and getting at them back, a mother's triumph over epilepsy and autism. Arlene, are you back?
I'm back.
All right, there you go. That's a little more clear.
Okay, good.
All right, so let's continue on with this conversation now. So we've been talking about Adam, we've been talking about the book, the website, and I touched a little bit upon the podcast. I think what I really want to talk about, because I know listeners, for the most part, I would think know how to put together a website, a great website. For those that don't, of course, you can always head over to jamesmartell.com, click on courses, click through to the Affiliate Marketers Bootcamp, and get your first 2 lessons for free. And you can start to begin to build out your website. Now, in your particular case, I think the reason why you built the site is something we should talk about first, and then I want to talk a little bit about some of the results that you've seen from other moms. But talk about why you built it first.
Yeah, it was basically, I just had so much information in my head. I tried so many different things, and I just felt it was just criminal for these doctors to be hiding this secret of this ketogenic diet when it can help so many kids. And then when I started doing the statistics on epilepsy, and when you try the first drug and then they go ahead and try, it doesn't work, so they try a second drug. There's only a 15% chance the second drug is going to work, and then it goes down from there. So then for us to be trying 6 different drugs and to put our family through what they did, it was just unbelievable. So that made me mad, number one. And then that diet was just not a big deal. I mean, we had to weigh every gram of food that went in his mouth. It was very specific. It was a really high-fat diet. It was not healthy, but it was not long-term. At least I knew that they told us you'd have to do the diet for about 2 years. And then most kids remain seizure-free the rest of their life. To me, 2 years of a little bit of sacrifice was nothing compared to a lifetime of medication and the side effects of the medication. So to me, I really just wanted to let other parents know that there was another option out there, whether it worked or not, was something they just had to try. And it certainly was not hard to try.
Well, and before we get into more of the details, what is the percentage of children who go on the diet that actually experience the success?
Yeah. So then when they go on the diet, it's approximately 30% of the kids become completely seizure-free and never seizure again, which is way better than taking the drugs. And then another 30% have a major reduction in their seizures, so much so that they're able to come off a lot of their medication or become on a much lower dose of their medication. So that lessens the side effects for them. And then the last kind of 30%, either the child absolutely refuses to eat the food, or the parents decide that it's too much work for them and they give up. So really, it's pretty amazing, the results.
Now, the content that you created for the website was essentially just sharing your story. And I remember us in the conference room at the time. You'd never been on a podcast at that point. And I said, hey, just one of the sessions was just like, you should do a podcast. And you're like, I'm not going to do a podcast.
No way.
So, no, you should do a podcast. And it's like, she's adamant, I'm not doing a podcast. But there's 100 plus people in the conference room, and they're like, Arlene, you got to do this. You got to do you got to do it. And you actually did go through with it. And you interviewed your girlfriend first. The two of you started Fraser Valley Epilepsy, which is now, what is it called now?
Called the Center for Seizure and Epilepsy Education in BC.
Yeah, so it is like the go-to source for epilepsy now in the entire province of British Columbia. And the two of you started that. You were the president of that for 5 years, and founded that nonprofit organization, which is now very, very influential and impressive. It was back then, but it's really grown. And you started out though by interviewing Laura.
Yeah. So she was the other mom that I started the Epilepsy Society with. I was absolutely terrified to do a podcast. And looking back at it now, I laugh because the podcasts are so amazing. They are so amazing. And it's really just, how can I get the information? Like when I interviewed Jim Abrams, who's that Hollywood movie producer, I interviewed him about his son Charlie and how he found the diet. I can't write that information down. To get his story in his own words was absolutely amazing. So I talked to him. I also talked to Dr. Swingle, who was a neuropsychologist in Vancouver who had done brain treatments on Adam to help reduce his autistic behaviors. And he was amazing.
I should say probably by 90%.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then I also interviewed other moms who had kids on the diet. And I interviewed a pediatrician who had a son on the diet. So getting that from her as a mom and a doctor, to get that perspective was incredible. So I didn't do a lot of podcasts, but we kind of handpicked the ones that would really, really help the audience that were listening.
So let's talk about that now, because you've had people now fly in from all over the world to see Dr. Swingle, for example, and you've heard countless stories of success similar to what we've experienced with Adam. I remember one of the very first ones was that little girl that they sent a picture of her in her crash helmet, and she was all beat up because she used to fall all the time. And then the after picture.
Right.
I don't remember her name.
And she looked so wasted. Like the medication, these poor kids, they're so highly medicated. and they just don't function. And then all of a sudden, here's her picture of her in her crash helmet, all doped up, and then the picture of her all sparkly and in her like a princess dress. It was like, oh my gosh, it's like you get your child back again. That's what happens.
So talk about the book, and that's why you called it Getting Adam Back, because...
Yeah, so what I did was I actually wrote to the hospital and asked for all the medical records, which was like, oh, I had no idea. They sent me a binder. I'm not kidding. It was probably 8 to 10 inches thick.
Yeah, massive.
Of everything that we had gone through at Children's Hospital. And what I wanted to do, plus I had Adam's journals from school, because we did a daily journal, and I just wanted to make sure I got the timeline right. And basically, it was pretty easy for me to write the book because it was all in my head. It was a matter of, I just started writing, and it just flowed out of me. It was unbelievable. And then, then I would just do like little sections on this or that. But wow, it was unbelievable. And then I just used the references, and then I used the doctor's reports or the psychologist's reports where I could actually show exactly what they said at the time when we were being treated and how Adam had started to change and how things started getting better. And we made it into a personal story. It's not a fact type of book, although it's got facts in it, but it's our personal story. It's like what happened when we got started, everything we went through at the hospital, how we were treated, our concerns, what wasn't working, finding the diet, finding the neurotherapy, and then pretty much Adam's story afterwards as he graduated from high school. And he was seizure-free for, many, many years by that point. But his brain was still a bit damaged from having so many seizures at a younger age. So Adam always will need support the rest of his life. But he lives on his own. He has a job. He's doing amazing. But man, oh man, I don't even think he would be here if we had not found that ketogenic diet. In fact, I know he wouldn't be here. And Adam has lost many friends to epilepsy who died of their seizures.
I was going to ask you something. He's just kind of got me there.
Yeah.
So I was just going to say, one of the things that I've heard over and over and over again from people who've read your book, and it's a fantastic book, and you give it away for free on your website. So anybody that wants a copy of it, you're more than welcome just to head over to epilepsymoms.com, instantly download it, and read it. But I've heard so many times somebody pick up the book and they couldn't put it down.
Yeah, because it's heart-wrenching. It's actually hard to read without crying because it's a true story. And these families that are going through it, they can identify because they're going through the exact same thing. And what they're really looking for, they're looking for hope. They are looking for someone that's been there through it all before them and have come through with a successful outcome, and they're looking for hope.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a story. So I think we'll leave it there. There's not much more we can say on that. If you're looking to build a website and you're looking to get the word out on your own, definitely it's a worthwhile endeavor. If you've had, challenges in your life that you want to share your story with the world, really. And it's amazing how far your book and your website has traveled, because literally people have found it all over the world, and they have flown into Vancouver, and there's many other places they can get help with this diet, including, what's Jim Abrams' site?
I'm sorry, Jim Abrams? Just do a Google search for the Charlie Foundation. I'm pretty sure it's charliefoundation.org. That's amazing, because on his site he trains the nutritionists to implement this diet in hospitals all over the United States and Canada and the world.
Yeah.
And so that's where you can find out which hospitals are providing the diet.
Yeah, yeah. And just before we go, because we kicked this off with advocacy, and you really had to, courage up to take these doctors on. There's so many stories. I think you shared some of them in the book about, head to head with the doctors and how you were relentless on this was not going to happen anymore, and how you had the courage to actually pull the levers and push the buttons to make them, do what you needed them to do. Mm-hmm. So maybe a little word of encouragement for anybody that's going through that same struggle, because it's a tough one.
It's a tough one. Like I seriously, I had doctors. They were so rude to me and told me, one guy, he put his finger in my face and said, "Don't ever judge my authority," when I started asking questions, because I was so frustrated as a parent not getting answers, and that's unacceptable to me.
He was the head neurologist for Children's.
Yeah.
What about the doctor that walked out on you and said and didn't tell you that he wasn't coming back and just went for lunch?
Yeah, he just walked out of the room, and I'm waiting for him to come back, and the nurse comes in and she goes, What are you waiting for? And I said, the doctor to come back. She goes, "Oh, he's gone for lunch."
Yeah.
Pardon me. It's like that happened to me so many times. I just felt like I wasn't treated well, and I just felt like Adam was a number on their chalkboard.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's the one thing about me, is I'm fierce when it came to Adam and protecting him and doing what was right for him. And I think many, many, many parents are out there, or people that have their own illnesses, they are the same. They just keep looking and looking and looking until they find the answers. You just can't give up.
Yeah. All right, so there we go. So if you would like a free complimentary copy of that book, just head over to epilepsybombs.com. Definitely refer your friends to it. If there's a way you can share it out, by all means, please do. There's many people that need to hear this story. Arlene.
Sorry, James, really quickly. It's not just epilepsy that's in my book. It's also a whole section on autism. And that's rampant these days as well.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic, and we'll cover that maybe in another session in the future. But yeah, definitely. Thanks for bringing that up. All right, so I can see we are out of time. If there's something here that we mentioned today that you missed, as usual, we do take all the show notes for you, and you'll find them for this particular episode at jamesmartell.com/AB485. And a final reminder that if you'd like to be alerted each week to new episodes, I do invite you to subscribe to the Affiliate Buzz by sending a blank email. Take you 5 seconds right now to affiliate_buzz@aweber.com. Arlene, thanks again. Thanks for sharing this story. I know it's always hard. And to our listeners, thanks for listening to another edition of the Affiliate Buzz.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of WebmasterRadio.fm's management or sponsors. Any rebroadcast or redistribution without authorized consent of WebmasterRadio.fm is prohibited.